I seen a clown in real life the other day. I seen a clown in real life the other day. I seen a clown in real life the other day. Hey, ready to do the thing? Oh, I guess we're doing the thing.
Oh.
It just started. Cool. That works out. The time is now. JC, Clown Car, number 2. We had some stuff that you said you wanted to talk about, and I was definitely down, and we got off track last time.
Well, that's what happened. We just totally got tangent after tangent, and we never hit some of the main topics that we had initially talked about.
Exactly. And so we got 2 of those, one of which you wanted to talk about a little bit more with your podcast, which I love to hear about, which I think is so cool. Like, that was one of my favorite things to learn about you and Katie. Just, being a person in comedy, and then being like, wait a minute, like, I think probably said this last time, but you guys understand, and like really appreciate it. So learning about you guys doing their podcast and your podcast, so cool.
Yeah, well, we kind of, we started to talk about the podcast, and then we got off track. I think we talked about my daily podcast a little bit, and that was one of the reasons. Well, we'll come back to that. But the daily podcast was, the funny news stories. But Katie and I did I feel like we strived for once a week, but you know what kind of time commitment once a week is. Mm-hmm. We've talked about that. And so we used to try to get one out every 2 weeks, but it was called Wanna Watch a Movie, and it was just us. We love movies so much. We love all these pop culture things. We love the comedy. We love the movies. We love the music, live music, and events that we talked about that. So, but really, it was our love of movies that initially brought us together. Our first date, I quoted Ferris Bueller to her, and it was done. It was a done deal. Everything was locked it up right then. So, know your movies is what I'm saying. Get you a girl who loves movies.
Oh yeah, that's very important. That's like, oh man, the way we connect on movies. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's one of my favorite things too. I just like that's just something I hold to very high importance in my life. And that's so that's what your guys' was about movies, right?
Yeah, it
was
was
about movies, but then like you were also interviewing comics too?
So I wasn't interviewing comics. What had happened was we just loved to go see comedy, and I had this little daily podcast that only the people that I talked to directly were finding out about. And so I started asking comics when we go see them. Afterwards, I buy merch, shake their hand, tell them how much we loved coming out to see them, how much we loved comedy in general. And hey, can I get your voice on my podcast for like 20 seconds? All I need you to say is, hi, and you're watching a podcast. And so many comics were so very, very kind to us. And they said yes. And so people, like some comics started knowing about this dude in Indy. And he might ask you to do a bumper, but it's just a fun little thing. It takes you 10 seconds. I would do it on my iPhone right there. Hey man, can you just say, hi, insert your name, and I'm listening to Wanna Watch a Movie or the Drivecast, and they would do it. I'd be on about, I'd go on about my way, and I built up this sort of library, and Chris Hardwick was a big one to get. I got him, and he did a really good long one, but through people knowing who I was, and Chris Hardwick gave me a shot to write for Nerdist, so I did 3 solid months of doing movie reviews. It was a 3-month commitment that turned into about 6 to 9 months of doing movie reviews at Nerdist.com.
So cool.
It was a fantastic. When Nerdist sold to Legendary Pictures, that's when things completely changed on the website, and it was a completely different crew. And they said, you can still pitch, but I don't have a journalism degree. Like, I have a film degree, and I could pitch from the film theory side or the film, from specific film knowledge, but I don't have that journalism portion that they were looking for the new movie review. So,
so weird.
I only had the confidence to pitch a few times, but none of them had made it through, mostly because I was living in Indianapolis, and the people who were in LA or New York who got to go to the advanced screening beat me to the punch.
Yeah.
That's mostly what happened. They were in the industry. They were further along, and they were in the right spot. So, so...
What time period was this in? Like, what?
Oh,
like...
my God, I told you.
Oh, yeah, we're bad at time.
I am at times.
2012? 2010, 2012?
So, it was...
2013?
We were in Indianapolis. This is going to be a big part you're going to have to cut because it's going to take me a minute.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Maybe I'll just do one of those things where I zoom up on you with all the equations going on by you.
That could be. No, I'm terrible at times I've been here.
Disclaimer, I also do have transitions, so if I look a lot cooler during this podcast, that's the reason why.
Is that
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
brought to you by
Transitions.
2000 and I know I'm gonna mess this up. 2012. No. When did I graduate? Not high school. Not high school.
Whispers.
Not
when did I graduate?
Not high school. College. College was a very long process.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
we worked full time and put ours and went to school at the same time.
Yeah.
It took many years to make.
Oh yeah.
To make college. But it was during it was just after or during that time and after while I was writing the college papers. I don't know, 2014, 15 probably.
Okay.
When I was fresh writing those scholastic papers that I impressed. I impressed. Well, at the time it was Hardwick who was making all the decisions enough to let me write for him. It was either that or me being ballsy enough to walk up and say, "Hey, let me write for you. You know you want it."
You know you want it.
Yeah.
Chris Hardwick.
You know you want it.
You want this smoke.
I mean.
Oh yeah. You know how I talk about you.
Right. So yeah, that's how that was the part of the missing component that I felt like brought it back to the comedy that you know and live today.
Okay.
As part of that, meeting the comics and working with Nerdist and being able to have fun with the what I spent so much time on the academic side learning about.
Yeah. I think it's interesting thinking about that time period going up to a comic and being like, hey, can I get your name and voice for this? And like them just being like, sure. Because now I just feel like I guess so many people are getting like I called out for being attached to certain things and stuff like that. I wonder if you'd still be able to do that with people now.
Oh, I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Some people knew what podcasts were, but not people weren't listening to podcasts, and there weren't many video podcasts at that time. I was I don't even know who had the big ones. I think the big ones were like the NPR ones, or certainly people like, I don't know. It's a different market. I'm trying to think of who was big at the time. My influences were some horror podcasts from Ohio. I listened to them all the time, and eventually became friends with a great group of people that live in Ohio and still do the podcast. They're on 9 years in.
Damn.
They've been doing it consistently. So some of those people who I just watched consistently and helped give me some advice on that to get us to the consistency of the podcast, releasing it weekly at a regular time to get more viewers in. And I feel like we're hitting tangents again, and I'm getting us off track.
Oh, that's totally okay. That's totally okay. That's I am a rambler, as you 100% know. I will be talking about one something and then just completely beeline over here. I'm pretty sure I did that with you at least 3 times today while we're at work.
Oh yeah, well, I was.
And we're back.
We're back.
This is going to be an audio portion of the clown car because my phone got too hot. And that's all right. No, we're not recording this on just a cell phone. That's not how this is going on.
No, it was the sensitive audio equipment.
I
believe there was a piece of dust in the studio.
My camera that looks more like a gun had to go do some business. Not my phone camera. Actually, it's pretty acceptable nowadays, right? People are like, "Oh, the newest movies are now being recorded on the iPhone 6."
Yeah, I know a couple movies that have been recorded on iPhones. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were talking about people doing like the thing that you did, running up the podcast.
Running up and saying, "Hey, would you do my voice?" No, it would be honestly at this point probably dangerous to do that with your career, with your reputation. So I'm glad that at the time. Well, so my favorite story was Jackie Cation and Maria Bamford. Saw them on the same night. Those ladies are incredible. But Jackie Cation, do you know who she is?
I know of her.
Okay.
I've never watched her stand up, but I know people love her.
Yeah, no, she's again phenomenal. But she's a great. She was wonderful to meet. I'll put it that way. I only met briefly, but hey, Miss Jackie, I loved your show. I have this podcast. Will you do just a quick? I'm Jackie Cation, and you're listening to the Drivecast. Oh, absolutely. So I got her to go, and then I met Maria. Who do you know? Maria Bamford.
I know of her, but again, I've never seen her comedy.
You need to see a few of these. Check out a couple of them.
Triple check this audio real fast.
Yeah.
Bam. Go ahead, hit me with it.
We got
perfect. Yeah, we're great.
Okay, cool. So I walk up to Maria afterwards. I've already spoken to Jackie, and we're working our way through the line. The ladies are standing up front, greeting people, and thanking them for coming to the show, like you do. And I said, "Hey, Maria, I have this podcast," and she goes, "Oh my God, I can't." And I said, "Okay, no problem. Don't worry. May I tell you that I enjoyed your show, and that I had a really good time. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was just going to ask for like 15 seconds of your time. I apologize if that made you in any way uncomfortable." And she says, "What?" I said, "No, I just wanted like 15 seconds of your time. I just wanted you to say hi. I am Maria Bamford, and you're listening to the Drivecast." And she said, "Oh, yeah, absolutely. I thought you were going to ask me to be on it."
It is. It's a commitment. It's understandable.
Right.
It's like, hey, can I borrow you for 2 hours?
Right.
You go to
Right.
this location and then get all the sound equipment set up and everything else like that.
So that was my favorite. She was like, "Oh, I can't," and I was like, "No, I apologize. I didn't mean to overstep." And she's like, "Oh, that's all you wanted? Yeah, I got you."
Oh, it's so crazy. Like, again, I just feel like there's no way I could get people to agree to do that now.
Right.
They'd be like, oh, well, now they're going to take, hey, I'm Maria Bamford, and I agree with these pro-life statements. Or, like, just take your voice and then throw it on there. Man.
Right.
It's so crazy. But I guess AI is going to do that anyway.
Eventually, yeah. There's going to be I don't know. I wonder how little you need. I feel like it's still a lot at this point. How much speech sample? Because weren't there problems with making people say things in movies? They didn't have enough syllables recorded or something.
I think they had a real problem putting Gilbert Gottfried's voice in, like, the Gilbert Godfrey films after his death. The Marvel ones.
The Marvel ones?
Yeah, the Marvel Gilbert. I'm pretty sure they... they are.
Iago's Avengers?
Yes, exactly. It's scary for me because every time I answer one of those like calls, and it's like, and you're like, "Oh, hello," and it's like from like telemarketers.
Oh, hello.
What the answer is?
Yeah.
I feel like they're capturing my voice. I feel like they're stealing it, and I'm like, "Oh, God damn it! Now somebody's gonna be, now instead of getting the like regular like telemarketer,
it's gonna be you going.
Yeah, it's the automated.
Hello.
It's like me talking to myself. I'm like, God damn it! It's like now you have these like bullshit telemarketer calls in your own voice. I'd be so pissed.
Oh yeah, You hate them already. If they're you talking to you, how much more?
So shitty. It's so shitty. Telemarketers just hate you.
How mocking is that to use your own voice to just?
So not nice. Oh my God. Dang. I had I keep on getting real telemarketer call, like a reoccurring one. And
Oh.
I'm like wondering if it's like something legit, because it's from something that I use. It's like they're like, hey, this is Brian from Vivid Seats, and you won these things, a trip to this thing and whatnot. And they keep on calling me, and there's several different real people that keep on doing the same thing to me. And I'm like, man, I wonder if I actually did win some shit, or I'm just like, nah, these guys are trying to scam me.
If you have won some shit and they're just trying to get you, then my business qualifies for millions and millions of dollars in loans.
Okay. All right.
So they don't have to be paid back, apparently, according to all of the telemarketer calls I get.
Okay. There you go. There we go. Damn. I didn't know you were so liquid. All this equity.
Right.
Damn.
I didn't either, but
Damn.
I qualify.
What else we're gonna talk? There was that point. We want to talk about the podcast a little bit and like the background behind that. And then last week you also mentioned about things that trying to gain inspiration for whatever your creative thing is.
Well, yeah, it's something I like to talk about with people. Like, what are the things that help inspire you, or is inspiration part of it? I mean, like, so where do you, like, when you're not inspired to write, but know you need to produce something, like, what is your process?
I am just fucking throwing dead fish at a wall, bro.
And if something makes you giggle, you're just gonna grab that thread?
So most of the time, yeah, if like something like makes me laugh, but that's the thing, like 90% of the time, I don't know about 90, a lot of time if I'm not in the mood and I'm not feeling inspired, I'll still try, but like I won't love any of that for the most part. Like every once in a while I feel like something comes from it, but a lot of times it's still like, I still think it's good even when I don't get anything from it, especially when I'm not feeling inspired to write anyway, just because I'm still trying.
Right, you're disciplined enough to keep putting forth the effort, to keep making movement toward the goal.
Exactly, and just even going over a bit, because that's the thing. It's like, it's weird how I guess I write jokes, because I don't have not every joke is the same format. I get most of my inspiration comes from just having conversations with people, and then I'll find a bit there, and then whatever angle I have to come from to get to that punchline or that situation, I either build backwards, I'll build forward, sometimes it's right in the middle. I basically just have a general phrase, like not phrase, but I get to the beginning of what I'm about to say, and I just work my way up. It's like fucking, like when they hit the goddamn hammer at the circus, and it's like,
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing that several times until I get to the like end of the joke. It's just like that over and over. I'll just repeat. Like, I have to talk it out for me. I'm pacing around like a crazy person.
Okay, I sort of envisioned that for you, honestly.
Oh, just pacing.
Like, head sort of hunched over a little bit, and like a plodding pace.
Kind of, and then I bring my head up and I'm like
Right, you're like,
exactly.
Posture's important. Stretch it out.
I don't want to deal with this when I'm 60. The repercussions of this on my spine. It's like, yeah, I'm just pacing and talk to myself because I have to hear where to put specific emphasis on things.
Sure, yeah.
For comedy, and it's funny how like putting a little specific emphasis on this one word can make a joke that much better.
Oh, or it can break one if it's the wrong way.
100%, man. 100%. It's so crazy, and it's crazy the amount of bits that I've gotten. Like, I've thought like this part was the bit and this is the end of it, and it's like, oh no, it's not. Now like that part actually doesn't hit. It's the second half of this bit that actually hits, and I can actually completely cut the original idea out, and now I'm working from this thing. So weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But for you, it's trusting your process, going ahead, and even if you're not feeling it, putting forth the effort to attempt to create something.
Yeah, especially like, it's hard, man. It's hard because with me, I'm hypersensitive, to things going on around me.
Okay.
So it's like, I gotta be alone. I need everybody to get the fuck away from me. I'm gonna be in this room. I'm gonna lock myself in here, or I'm gonna have the whole apartment myself, and I'm gonna pace all the way from our bedroom to the goddamn kitchen through the living room, and I'm just gonna walk around talking to myself for hours sometimes. Just, trying to work it out, man.
What your cat must think.
I know, right? I think about that all the time. Clover's like,
this guy is completely certifiable.
Today, he's gonna fucking lose it. He's screaming about liquid cheese for the last 7 minutes. It's a true story. Liquid cheese bit.
Oh, I know.
Oh man, I did that for like 2 shows and another show, and I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to retire the liquid cheese.
You done with it?
Screaming about liquid cheese in a public place, in a group of strangers.
Sometimes they just don't get it, I think.
Oh, 100%. Well, I don't, but the thing is, it's not their fault.
No. But, man, if they could only get it.
If only. But, maybe that's the thing, too. It's like, I love it so much because it's not like, with comedy shows, a lot of times you can remember a comic you wouldn't seen.
Yeah.
Like, you remember that comic. You don't remember anything about what they said, barely. Like, a lot of times, like, for me personally, like, I can, like, be like, man, that was, like, an amazing show. And I'll get 2 weeks, I was like, I do not remember a thing of what that person said for the most part.
Right.
And that could just be me, because I know a lot more people are a lot more technical, I guess, with their memory, which sounds weird, but I mean,
I think some people are going to be able to pull that stuff, but, like, I mean, like, having seen, like, Mark Maron, for example, I'm a big fan of his stuff. We've seen him at least twice, maybe 3 times I've seen Mark. And I'll watch anything that he releases. But I can only tell you a few specific bits or punchlines. I know I like Maron's comedy. I like his style. And I know, I don't want to say I know what I'm going to get out of it, but, I don't know how to put this the wrong way. You know what that strawberry candy tastes like. There's a reason you go back and grab it again because you like it.
Yeah.
There's a reason you go back and listen to old Stephen Lynch stuff because you like it, or if you go back and listen to I don't know, anything, or even a new comedy album, going back and listening again, or
for sure.
anything that, like, to continue with Mark Maron, anything that he releases, I know I'm going to listen to it, and I'm going to enjoy it because of the way that I felt all the other times that I've seen him. So, does it go back to that quote? People won't remember what you said, but they will often remember how you made them feel.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, and that's nice because with comedy being the element of surprise, a lot of times, and still having bits that you can go back and literally listen to, and you'd be like, oh, that's still so funny, and like loving. I love that so much, and I love that part about like good comics. But I guess the point I was making with where I'm at, it's like I can go do the liquid cheese bit like last month, right? I did the liquid cheese bit last month. I could put it down for a little bit. I could leave it alone. Come back to the liquid cheese bit in a year. Nobody's gonna be like, wait a minute, this is the liquid cheese bit again. Like, you saw the liquid cheese thing again. No, it's like where I'm at. I have the freedom to be like, you know what? I'm gonna hang up the sauce. I'm gonna hang up the liquid cheese sauce.
The liquid cheese sauce.
Yeah, we're gonna put it up in the cabinet. We're gonna leave it there, let that fester for a little bit, and then we're gonna come back to it. I've had several bits like that, man. And like that's the cool thing with comedy, man. It's just, I guess where I'm at, it's like nobody's sitting here being like, oh, that sounds so much like your last album, or
right,
like, this sounds exactly like your other song, or like I've heard that with bands I love. Like I love Primus. Everybody's like, all of their music sounds the exact same. And it's like, I know, and I love it,
right?
But with like, I guess for that, I don't have a lot of people like nickel and diming me like that. So it's cool to have the freedom to put a bit away for a little bit and then come back to it.
That is cool. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's like pulling out
being able to pull out the hits or being able to pull out the
not so much liquid cheese hits.
the not so much the liquid cheese hits.
Not so much liquid cheese hits.
I don't know. Think about like there are some comics that I've seen that sound exactly like their album. Like they will tell that story the exact same way, the exact same inflection, and not deviate. And I don't want to take anything away because there's some people that I've seen do that are brilliant on stage. They're brilliant in that joke format. But there are a few comics that I have seen. They go to see them as like putting on their album, for better, for worse.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too negative about that, but that's not specifically what I'm looking for.
Okay.
When I go see a live comedy, I don't want to hear the album. I want to hear something different. I want to hear something weird. I want to hear something I've not heard, or put a different way at least.
I see, and that's I think about that a lot. If I ever like go and record something, like special wise or anything, I'm like, oh, dude, I want to do my weird shit, dude. I want to like I don't want to do that for an album or anything like that, because it's like if so many shows I have to play it safe because I'm hosting.
Right.
You know, I can't do the weird shit that I want to do, or like I'm a feature act, and then the headliner is like, "What the fuck? Why'd you do the liquid cheese bit?"
Right.
You know, and it's like, you know, I want to do that weird shit because those are my favorite bits because they're weird. They're so weird, and I guess those are the ones that there's a lot of bits I have that I hold super dear to me, but they don't always work. That's the thing. It's like the weird shit doesn't always work.
Right. No, and it's not always going to work. Mm-hmm. The crowd's not always going to be for the crazy weird stuff, but
those crowds only do missionary. Missionary crowds.
Missionary crowds.
Vanilla missionary crowds.
But when it does hit, right?
Or when it only hits with a specific person.
Oh, and he's dying.
Oh, that's my favorite. Oh, dude.
It's a comic.
Oh, well, okay. That's that you can hold that's special, but when it's a random audience
member, just one dude dying.
I was at the show in Holland, Michigan. Starts at 9:30. Starts at 9:30. I probably didn't get on stage till 10 o'clock.
I was in bed.
Yeah, you were in bed. But the hell is that?
The best weight loss supplement.
Oh, okay. I was so confused. I didn't know if there was like a parking lot sermon going on.
Oh, I thought you just inserted an ad.
Damn. Brought to you by. Damn.
Transitions.
The transitions. I think that's how the random sound effects for transition commercials go.
They should.
Something like that. Fucking God. Oh no, it was not. It was like 10 o'clock at this random bar in Holland, Michigan. It's a dive bar. Just dive bar. Great place to do comedy. Great place to work stuff out. But there was a good amount of audience members, mainly younger. It's like a college town, so mainly like younger people.
Okay.
And then there was just this old.
My kind of crew, right?
Oh, for sure. The bros.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, JC bros. My favorites. Lots of film kids.
Filming and a couple theater.
Yeah, a couple theater.
Musician or two,
Just like 20-year-olds like with the fucking Home Alone hand recorder, like, hey, can I record this for my podcast?
And I'm like, I know you, kid. You remind me of myself.
One always goes there dressed up as Santa Claus. So we're there, and there's this one old couple, front row, right next to the stage.
Okay.
I'm saying like at least like maybe I'm gonna say late 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, late 50s couple, and I do my clown bit. You know my clown bit? Where I'm like talking about fucking God damn it. It's the opening for the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do that.
Okay.
That's a weird bit.
Yeah.
And then, like, the crowd's, like, they're into it. This old lady is dying. She is dying. I'm like, man, this is some weird... She is crying, bro. And then, so I, like, get off stage, I have a great set. And then I'm just chilling there for the show, and a couple more comics go, and, like, they're kind of, like, the crowd's kind of, like,
Okay.
Lukewarm at that point.
Yeah.
And then the host goes up, and he's like, he starts talking to the old people. And at one point in their conversation, the lady's like, the clown guy. She's like, I really, really like the clown guy. And I was like, bro, I gotta shout out 3 comics, past. I was like, this is the best.
Yeah.
This is the best.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I love that shit. If I'm on a show, and then later something I, like, said gets brought up on a show, I'm like, fuck yeah. That is my shit. Because I just feel like so much, like, again, so much of that gets lost. Well, I guess with me watching comedy, that could just be me, but so many great comics I love, like all the sets, stuff like that, just gets completely forgot about to me. And then, like, I hate feeling like that about myself. When I go out there, I'm like, man, these people probably won't remember. And then, like, you get almost towards the end of the show, and they're like, fuck Tim Allen. I'm like,
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's my shit, dude. Remember me. Remember me.
Witness.
You know what I wanted. I'm going to strive really hard to make a Mad Max quote or, like, reference every time on the podcast now.
Yeah, you should.
Every time. Oh, yeah, it's the best. It's too good of a movie. It's fantastic. Me run Bartertown. How about your inspiration? Where do you get that? You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on the project, because I think I just have some sort of, like, internal, I don't know, I picture it like a goblin screaming, "You must create!" just like all the time, just right here, causing me a little bit of anxiety, but also just drive me to like, I have to be making something. And so it's more figuring out where to channel that. Because I talked about, there's so many different things that I do, from drawing to music to knitting and crocheting and even video games, to a certain extent. I know that feels passive, but it's very problem solving. It's a very mental, mentally active in that sense. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's sort of, what do I have the time to put forth, like, what amount of time do I have to put forth toward this endeavor? That'll help me select where I'm gonna put the time. Is it in the tea, or one of these other more hobby type pursuits? Because at the end of my time, I want to have something to look upon. It doesn't need to be something finished by any means, but at the end of my time I don't have something to look and say, hey, I've made some progress toward this goal, then that's where I start to feel that, like, you haven't made something, even though you did maybe make progress. If it's not something that's measurable progress, if I can't see that I've started a project, or if I haven't made progress on a project or something, I get anxious that I'm not creating. And so that doesn't really talk to the inspiration. It talks more, I guess, to the fear of not, okay, which is not good at inspiration.
But that's like, anybody that cares about being a creative person does have that, like, necessary anxiety of that, I feel, for the most part.
Good. I mean, it's good to know that I'm not the only person that would experience that. But so I don't know, like, for names and blends and flavors in the tea, I really try to look around and the colors of nature. For the drawing, we talked I think last time, how I do like to draw wildlife and such. And so again, it's nature, but I don't love being out exposed. Like, I like my house. I like the reverse terrarium. Like, I'll stay in here. Now, I like to go out. I like to be out. I like to see. But I like to see it in the everyday. I like to see it in the mundane. I like to see it on my drive home. To see the apple trees blossoming on my drive home. Because that's something you have to do. You have to get from work to home. So on my way home, look at how amazing that looks. And look at that woodpecker that just landed in that tree. Now I got to go draw.
Mm-hmm.
So
the it's totally understandable with trying to find the organic, like, awe moment of nature, because, you know, for so long, and like forever, it's like almost cliche. People are like, look at the beauty of this waterfall,
right,
this canyon, these things. And then, like, I remember going to see something like in nature and then being like, oh, damn it, why am I not feeling this profound feeling that everybody describes and things like that? So, like, having, like, the organic stumble upon or just, like, random, you know, witnessing of some cool nature shit is, like, I feel like way more genuine than the, you know, pursuit of that a lot of times. Unless it's, like, something, like, insanely majestic.
I mean, I think certainly there's a place for both, but yeah, I mean, for me, it's about finding it in the mundane, about finding it in the everyday, about
in the inspiration aspect.
Right.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I do that a lot with my comedy. Like, especially when, you know, you're not feeling inspired. I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna take this pencil, I'm gonna put it in the middle of this table, and I'm gonna figure out how to make it funny. You know, like, it's weird stuff like that. Those are challenges to make your brain work.
Right.
In that direction, and great exercises. And it's because we were talking earlier about, like, I don't know, I was like, oh, I seen this job, possibly, maybe I'll apply for this job and, like, check this out. And I'm like, oh, well, this is going to be a way less social job. And for me, that's very scary. Because I'm going to say a good 75% of my comedy comes from just random conversations I have with people.
Right. And either the ridiculous stuff that people say or the next step.
Oh, yeah.
Of, like, what I would have loved to have said.
100%.
Yeah.
And then even beyond that, suppose I get that interaction, then I come and tell my coworkers about it that are a huge part of my, I don't know, social life, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just naturally what happens when you're in a workplace for 40 hours a week. Then your coworkers, hopefully if you're able to be social with them, I tell you guys about this, and then that becomes a joke, and then I tell you guys the joke. You know, like, I haven't been able to do a mic in, like, 2 weeks.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like all my new material, I'm like, all right, I want to tell this to people.
Right.
You know, it's like that's a big thing too. It's like, if I have a new bit, I'm excited about it. And
as you should be.
Well, and I want to maintain that excitement though, because if you know, it takes me 2 weeks to get to another mic, and I'm not excited about the bit anymore, then maybe I can't properly perform it. You know, like, convey what I was going for. You know,
right.
Because I'm like, because with me, it's like I'm always trying to move on to the next bit. Like, when I was doing a lot of comedy in South Bend, I had some of my friends come up to me like, Max, you don't always have to do your new bits. Like, keep doing, like, just do some of the classics, do some of the hits. And it's like, for me, I'm like, dude, this isn't industry people. If I'm not going up on stage and doing new stuff and trying and experimenting, then I'm not working. I'm just going around in a circle. You know, I want to go forward.
Right. I mean, yeah. Sure. What about like polishing up or staying in practice on some of the old bits? I mean, does that
100%.
Okay.
For sure, but, like, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have an old bit that I'm going to try a little different tagline on.
Okay, yeah.
And then right after that, or somewhere in the set, I'm going to do something that I haven't tried at all. And that's what's cool about, you know, sets. It's like, hey, I can do some old stuff real fast, and then I'm going to go to this totally brand new thing. But I'm going to stack it in a way that's still productive and progressive for that newer material. And especially for new material, a lot of times you want to do that so you don't lose trust in the crowd because you don't know if it's funny or not. You want to put that like old material up front that like tried and true, and then
Right.
put in the new material after that. So it's like, it's very definitely like do your old stuff and like experiment with that, but at the same time you got to keep moving forward.
Sure.
For
Yeah.
me personally, anyway, that's just how it works with me, and I know it's because I can get very, I can the anxiety, like the artist anxiety, I get that with like being stagnant, with my comedy and not writing new material, just because there can be bouts of me not writing for a week,
Right.
Also, I'm a dad. I work 40 hours. I'm in a relationship. I go to the gym. Like several different things, and sometimes you can't link up when you're feeling inspired,
Right.
with when you have the free time.
Right. And then so you come away from the session not having something to look back on and say, I've made progress. Therefore, you're back to anxious.
Exactly, 100%. So it's we did the tangent again. We did the tangent again. I'm getting lost. Bring me back down, JC. bring me back down. I'm a kite. I'm too far up.
I can't fly kites. Did you know that?
Who the fuck can fly kites, bro?
I can't fly a kite.
Dude, every kite I've ever got I thought was bullshit. I felt like it was like a fushigi scam. You know what the fushigi is?
No?
You remember the clear little glass ball that people were like, look how amazing it is on the
Oh,
infomercials?
yeah.
That was the fushigi.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen some of those at like hippie fests and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, kites feel like a goddamn, they feel like a pyramid scheme. Kites,
Nope.
Kites in Herbalife.
Okay. And Herbalife.
And
Yeah.
Herbalife.
Yeah, can't do kites. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Can't do kites.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
Sling Blade. Can't do kites.
Reckon.
Man. But yeah, it's interesting trying to navigate just feeling inspired and actually jumping on the goddamn horse.
Right.
And that's so many different things go into that. And what I love about the anxiety of it, though, especially when I have shows, if I've got like 2 mics, tomorrow, I better have something to fucking put down, especially with the standard I hold myself to.
Right.
So it's like, all right, now I gotta have this in the brain and like try to do anything, and then like, if I didn't have time to do that, sometimes I'm driving and I'm just like, all right, now I need to think about new material right now. Here comes the turn signal going to left lane.
So I was driving on the way to Grand Rapids today.
And I was like, fuck Tim Allen, fuck Tim